What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Bros. That was outrageous, wasn't it? A 9-5 win at Citizens Bank Park. That place was crazy. Kyle Schwarber leading things off the way that he did. I couldn't even believe what I was seeing. And over the last few days, I kept getting comments on Twitter or here on the YouTube page asking me, Bros, who do you think is going to hit the first home run? And everyone seemed to respond with Kyle Schwarber because it's an obvious choice. He's a leadoff batter, but even as potent as this offense could be, even I thought that that's too good to be true. So I picked Bryce. Imagine if Bryce walking up to the dish third in the lineup. You get one guy on, maybe JT gets out. So here's Bryce with Schwarbs on after earning a walk in a hypothetical world, and he sends it to the second deck in right field or something for the place to lose its damn mind. But no, it's Schwarbs with the full count who goes down and goffs it, and it's a no-brainer. You could see it in his eyes. He knew it the second it barreled up, and it was just magnificent. All around, you saw what this offense could be. It was just as advertised, and that's basically what we witnessed today, an offense that was insane. When your pitching staff and your defense seemed to struggle, and the A's climb back into things, I kept asking the question, will this offense be enough to make up for the holes in Aaron Nola's game when he's going to inevitably allow a home run? That's a real issue as a whole. Now, people are saying that I'm lagging and it's going bad, and I don't know why that would be the case, and I hope that's not true. I'll ask Sean. Sean, is that the case?
Yeah, you're a bit laggy there, but that's okay. We're well on our way to a World Series victory, so lagging doesn't bother us tonight.
Well, it bothers me, so I don't know. Is it something that has to? Now everyone's saying it's not happening anymore. So regardless, it was an awesome day at the ballpark. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. It went pretty much mostly what you can expect. Look, the one thing that tampered the enthusiasm for me was Aaron Nola. You look at that lineup that he had to face coming into the game, and I said to myself, this should be a breeze for Aaron Nola today. The Oakland As' own family members don't recognize those guys. You could have put it on cruise control. The team goes out there, gives you a 6-1 lead at home, and then Aaron Nola does Aaron Nola-type things. He goes from Cy Young to Brandon Workman in the span of about 2 minutes, and the game, goes into doubtful stage again. How much longer are we going to have to endure this with this guy? It's beyond ridiculous.
It definitely is, and thanks, Sean. And I understand that the tone was definitely a lot different after that happened, and specifically there was screaming about Joe Girardi making the decision quicker, but I have no problem with what Joe Girardi did. To me, it's your guy, Aaron Nola. He's been a part of this franchise forever now. You have to see, is there anything different from last year to this year? And by the way, at the time, he was dealing and dominating and looking insanely smooth to the point where, hey, look, it ended up happening. And he ended up getting annihilated. And now that might change my future decisions. But to ask Aaron Nola to continue to go out there and battle a bit, I don't have a problem. It's funny. When Gabe Kapler rips him off the field, it's an automatic, this guy blows, get Gabe Kapler out of town, he sucks. And now Joe Girardi does the exact opposite, and now it's Joe Girardi sucks. I can't believe this guy. It's game one. If you think that I'm going to deal with the Joe Girardi slander already on day one, I don't think Joe Girardi did anything wrong. My problem is Aaron Nola's lack of execution and had made things turn around a bit. But once again, you got to think about how strong this offense is and the damage that could be done. Castellanos did strike out 3 times, but he provided a big-time RBI for you. Probably probably shouldn't have went to third base. He ended up being out by a mile. And as I alluded to earlier, as I was informed that the stream kind of had some wonkiness involved, but it seems like that is all cleaned up, that going to second base, you got Bryce Harper going to second. Maybe that's part of this team's identity. Keep your foot on the gas, force other teams to make mistakes and have to throw the ball around the diamond, and then let's see what happens from there. In terms of the A's, though, and no names, the A's are sort of like the Tampa Bay Rays. At times, sometimes maybe to a minor extent, like the San Francisco Giants. It doesn't matter if you know the guys or not. They're an organization that does a lot with little in terms of, big power. I get it. You move on from Chapman. There's guys that you move on from and all, and you think about Sean Manaea. You think about who was on the bump for them today as well. Maybe he ends up finding himself in a Phillies uniform at one point. At the end of the day, though, when I see Aaron Nola struggling, Aaron Nola needs to be better. You can't be running out of gas like that. And if the remark back to me is it's just the first game and because of the spring training and how short it is, that won't be the case very long as he continues to get more reps. I don't know if that's necessarily true. If your offense keeps scoring, though, this is how it's going to have to be. And it might be the same way with Eflin. It might be the same way with Ranger. It might be the same way with Kyle Gibson. And it wasn't just the problem with Aaron Nola where they needed to shine and carry you because that's your identity as a team. But how about that seventh inning when Bryson Stott had some plays that should have been made? Maybe you can look at Rhys Hoskins over at first base as well. But when things got ugly with Familia and Hand in the mix, you look at the bullpen. I thought the bullpen was awesome. Seranthony Dominguez. Here's the beauty of Bryson Stott. Now, we'll get to what he did at the dish because I was in awe and I loved every moment of it. And I'm pretty disappointed that I did not get invited on the field with the family afterwards to give him all the hugs in the world for playing such a great game of ball in his debut in the bigs. But if you think about his costly mistakes that happened in the seventh, the ball is kind of finding a tough time over at Bryson Stott on the left side of the infield. How did he respond in the eighth when Seranthony Dominguez was on the bump? Clean, routine plays. Easy, collect, and make a throw. And think about this. It's your first nod. It's your first attempt. Things get uncomfortable. Things look bad. Things look awful. And then the next inning, you got to shake it off and just go play again. Put it behind you. You're a cornerback. Don't let it sit. Don't let it marinate. You know who lets it marinate? Alec Bohm. You cannot have that. And Bryson Stott responded in the next inning. Now, when you go to the batting, I loved it. His first at bat, good cut. Good cut. It ended up being caught. It was a fly ball to center field, but it's something that I acknowledge. He looks good at the plate. He gives you the single to right field. He gives you a double, unbelievable run into second base. He gets a big-time celebration there at second base, and his family's cheering him on, too, as well. Just awesome out of Bryson Stott. The kid belongs. The kid absolutely knows what he's doing at the plate. He works the count. He waits for the right pitch, and I just think pretty much majority of the time today, I really enjoyed what I saw from Bryson Stott. I just think the kid's a player. Now, there's some things to work on defensively, but keep in mind what the alternative is. And the alternative is a man named Alec Bohm, which is totally unacceptable. And I don't know how they're planning on doing that. When you look at the lineup and how they activated their lineup today, they put JT in the 2-hole. They put Gene down in the lineup and Rhys Hoskins after Nick Castellanos. I'm all right with it. The only thing that bothered me was no Mickey Moniak. And we haven't spoke since the news of Mickey Moniak that he has a broken wrist or a hairline fracture in his hand, however they're describing it. I saw 5, 6, 7 different ways that it is being mentioned. But anyway, 4 to 6 weeks, and he got hit by that pitch in spring training. It's just a damn shame because this kid was raking. His OPS was over 1.2. He had 5 home runs in spring. He was hitting around 371. His slugging, awesome. And it's going to be hard. You're going to miss a big beat here. You will. He's handled a lot of adversity to this point. And we don't know if this would have necessarily translated to automatic success in the bigs. But it's the most confident we've seen Mickey Moniak look out of all of his times in spring, and it just felt different. It just looked different out there. It didn't look like the 18, 19, 20-year-old Mickey Moniak that was overpowered and overmatched, even when he was hitting home runs before, because it's not as if we've never seen Mickey Moniak have power, but it didn't feel legit. Didn't pass the smell test. Everything this spring training did. It did a lot, actually. It reeked. It reeked in a good way. It gave me that stank face of solid play. So that was the only thing that bothered me from the lineup. But, man, Knable throwing gas. He was throwing heat nonstop, 96. Hitters don't know what to do. They're just swinging at high cheese because they got no shot in hell. How about that for a ninth inning? How about the bullpen just looking good all around? Had to work through some battles on the defensive side, but that's inevitable, and that's going to be a part of this team as a whole. Your offense carried you and scored 9 runs. Your success is all going to be generated by the power in the bats. And when you needed a response and you needed a little bit of surge, because as I alluded to, the tone changed and the feeling around the ballpark was absolutely different once Aaron Nola got murdered on the 3-2 count. And even the previous home run, it was an 0-1 count. Now, I could live with that because he was on another level and he was tearing it up. I did see some good movement with the 2-seam. I saw some really nice changeups. I saw a good breaking ball. But then on a 3-2 count over the heart of the plate, after getting knocked around a little bit there, we saw typical Aaron Nola. That's Aaron Nola's fault. I'm not telling you that Joe Girardi's an idiot for keeping him in there. I'm not doing that right now. It's too easy. Oh, the manager. The manager over 162 affects like 10 games. Stop it. It's game 1. You need to learn. Don't say, well, the track record tells me that Aaron Nola does this every game. Well, how do you know if he is changed or not? How do you know if he's going to power through last season's 2-strike issues without giving him the opportunity to? And by the way, he was mowing people down all game. He wasn't battling internally. He wasn't in stressful. These were non-stressful innings all throughout the entire game. Look, things are going to go wrong on the diamond. Players are going to fail to execute. If you're going to tell me every time something bad that happens automatically goes to Joe Girardi, which apparently that's the message already from this fan base, I'm going to be sick of it. That doesn't mean he never makes mistakes. It doesn't mean he always makes the right decision. But if you told me prior to seeing what played out, Aaron Nola cruises the way he did, and then he's going to have a little bit of a hiccup with a couple guys on, and it's going to be a full count. And in game 1 at home, Joe Girardi's going to give him a chance to work through that after some of the strikeouts you saw this outing. I'll take it any day of the week. It's not some horrendous idea. Stop acting as if he put in a position player to pitch in the 5th inning. It's not some horrendous decision. You can make a decision that has logic to it that doesn't end up succeeding. It doesn't mean the logic prior to what you see as the result didn't make any sense. What is Aaron Nola? That's what the question is. And I'm okay with Joe Girardi figuring that out on the fly. All right, to the phones, back we go. Good evening. You are on Broads Media.
How you doing, Broads?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
I'm really excited. You know, I think you hit the nail on pretty much everything that I was about to come up to you with. But I have a few things I want to say. First of all, I want to know how much of the Aaron Nola problem was a little bit of Realmuto's fault. Now, that's just like an idea that I'm throwing out there.
Yeah,
second of all, I think
real quick on that first point, it's a lot easier maybe to see some things from the broadcast view and all. And trust me, I know fans last year ripped JT Realmuto and at times would say Andrew Knapp's the better catcher calling games. And also, look, I didn't see the broadcast copy of everything that played out in regards to all that. So it's a little different when you're in the environment and just seeing it. But I would think just off the top of my head, not to say that it's a horrendous thought, but it seems to be probably a little more of a reach than a reality, just from a broad sense here.
Yeah. Secondly, I got one more thing after this. I think that the way this game went is pretty much how we're going to see most of the season. I think our bullpen's going to be pretty decent. I think our defense is going to have really bad moments, but some really great moments. And I think our hitting is just going to be absolutely phenomenal. And the feeling that I got listening to the broadcast, I didn't get to see the game. I was busy, but I listened to it on WIP, and hearing Kane Callis' son sing the national anthem, or Harry Callis' son, Kane Callis, sing the national anthem, and hearing Dan Baker announce the Phillies lineup, you know, it really just it gave me high hopes, I got to say, bro.
Yeah, for sure, man. It was goosebumps all around in that ballpark for sure, and you nailed it. Everything prior, everything before the game, just even seeing the players be announced and them coming out to the fans that were cheering Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos. In years past, it's Odubel Herrera, Mike Franco. It's all these guys that are absolute bums that I can't stand, and now you're starting to see real legitimate boppers. You saw the difference between a serious MLB team, a real roster, even with the bullpen. They're going to have their ups and downs. They're going to go through their stretches and their weak points. They're going to go through their good parts. And, you know, today's a full stretch of adrenaline for the 3.5 hours, knowing that the crowd is at the max peak. And it's like, hey, it's game 1 of 162. This is incredible. The fans are going bonkers for us. So, you know, there's going to be ups and downs throughout this entire 162 game journey out of the bullpen. But if you think about what this team is all about, this team is built on offense. I feel they have average from bullpen and starting pitching. I think they have average pitching. I think they have below average defense, and they have elite offense. And with the expanded playoffs and the extended teams that are going to be thrown into the mix, that can get you to an 87 win type of possibility. And with those 87 wins, you could find yourself in a playoff spot, playing in a playoff series in October, which we haven't felt in forever. I love the way that this team picked everybody else up. And you could just see that third inning, just playing a bit of small ball, too. There's so many ways to do it. You want a Schwarb's bomb? Let's have it. You want to see Reese and Didi and JT? You get a first to third scenario. And I think it's hysterical because I went with a good friend of mine, and he brought his father and then a family member as well. So it was the 4 of us. And the one family member is, I'm not going to say the biggest baseball fan in the world. He obviously doesn't hate baseball, but, you know, it's more of like asking questions about some things. And he talked about, as soon as we sat down and Schwarber was leading off, and he goes, you know, it's crazy how nowadays it's a little bit different. Whatever happened to getting on base, stealing second, I like that style more. And then with the blink of an eye, within 5 seconds, I shit you not, the ball is over the wall in right field, and the Phils are up 1-0. I look down to the right of me and go, yeah? You sure you want to just try and trickle one in and get a single and then try and steal second? You think that's the best idea right now? You think that's what it's all about? No! This lineup is built for this! The lineup is all about what you just saw right there! Going down and clubbing it! I mean, come on! Did you see the swing? And did you see the swagger afterwards? I love the swag of some of these guys, too. When Bryce Harper's coming around and he's scoring, and this is the Castellanos play when he gets an RBI, and Bryce is rounding third base, and he slides, and he gets, I mean, come on! We get 161 more of these. 161 more of these. I'm looking at some of these bullpen names, and I just really love Dominguez today. Easy. Just a handful of pitches. And that was a common theme, honestly, as a whole. And looking at what Aaron Nola did. Aaron Nola, these were his first 5 innings. 11 pitches, 9 pitches, 15 pitches, 13 pitches, 8 pitches. He was in command and in control for a long period of time. And if you want to make the argument that, well, it was obvious he was collapsing, it was obvious that he was falling apart, so how come the manager gets no blame when that's the case where a couple guys got on? Professional sports is about execution. Professional sports is about the players doing their job. And sure, the manager is supposed to put the team in the best position to win. At the same time, Aaron Nola is not some scrub. He's not Vince Velasquez. He's not Matt Moore. Matt Moore got yanked after pitching a no-hit. He was throwing a no-hitter at the time. He's such a disaster. He's such an abomination. He's not even close to an MLB pitcher where you pull that guy's ass real quick. Get out of here, you bum. Keep in mind, I hate his face more than I hate Ben Simmons' face, and that's saying a lot. Aaron Nola was in Cy Young conversations in years past. Aaron Nola, even when he wasn't in Cy Young conversations, were posting good years. Aaron Nola has the ability to really fool you and make you look stupid and dumb like we witnessed. His timely mistakes are what needs to be fixed. But in what universe, as a pro athlete, can you fix that with a reasonable background to support that? You've done something in this league. Like, this guy has done something in this league. I don't have the biggest faith in the world all around, but if you're telling me I have to manage Aaron Nola, I'm going to have faith in Aaron Nola, because that's what you need to do if you're Joe Girardi or any manager out there. You got to have faith that he has to get in these positions to work out of these funks, or else it's never going to be fixed. And maybe the answer is it never does get fixed. And maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 starts after you see a common theme and it continues, then you make different decisions based off that. But game one, I'm okay with it. 7, 8, 9, 10 times, 10 starts of Aaron Nola, and it's over and over again. Okay, I might have a different feel on it, because then there's enough of Aaron Nola this year to know. I don't know who Aaron Nola is this year. Not off to a great start, though. I'm not telling you I love it. I just don't hate Joe Girardi for saying, go ahead, Nola. Full count. What do you got? All right, this goes in the back of the brain. But you got to get that information. You got to get that data. It kills me that Joe Girardi is getting murdered for this decision. Yet the other decision, which was Gabe Kapler yanking him too early, well, that was unacceptable. Well, what do you want then? I mean, what do you want? What do you want? Which one is it? It's crazy. Back to the phones we go. Hello, you're on Broge Media.
Yo, Broge, what a textbook opening game for the Phillies.
I agree. It was everything that we kind of thought it would be. It honestly had so many moments of, like, it's funny. If I told you before the game began, explain what's going to happen, you'd probably say there's going to be a bomb early on. The Phillies will score some runs. Aaron Nola will have some good moments, but then he'll probably end up having a big mistake that will cost them. And then your defense will have some issues, but ultimately your offense will be enough. You'll probably label it out almost essentially exactly how it happened.
I know. I was just like, exactly what I thought was going to happen, and it was just so great to see their offense come alive. So I'm not the biggest knowledgeable person on baseball, so maybe you could help educate me this, but I'm looking at their lineup, and I'm like, man, like, our lineup is really, really good. I'm just thinking, how do you think we're going to perform against the Mets and Atlanta this year?
Well, I think it, and I appreciate you calling in. Yeah, this lineup's up there. It's funny. I've been listening to some national media stuff about where the Phillies are, and how about this? There was a question asked to a group of people. It was like a round table. And what team are you looking forward to the most, just to see how it pans out, the excitement level, where everybody is anticipation-wise? And 2 of the 3 answers were the Philadelphia Phillies. Nationally, people are looking at what Dave Dombrowski did and analyzing it with the swagger of how they can demolish baseballs and go, they have something real over there. So if you're thinking about how does this lineup now relate and correlate to some of these other teams, and how does it correlate to success, I mean, it's real. It's not phony. It's not fake. These are real MLB players. Bryce Harper came here, and then he had the attraction of other guys wanting to play here. You see Schwarbs looking around, and it's not as if this guy hasn't played in big markets. Dude played in Wrigley. Okay, guy played in Chicago for the Cubs and won a damn championship. He played in Boston, in Fenway, and had an electric playoff run, and he's having some awesome hits and awesome moments, right? So when he comes to Philadelphia and he sees what it's like and he sees the atmosphere and he's looking around as if, wow, this is really what it's going to be like, huh? This is how I'm going to spend the next 4 years of my life. Like, this is a real baseball hitter when he's up. He's a real guy. Like, he's real. Castellanos, real. Bryce, Reese, real. JT, real. Didi, real. Nice for him to get a hit. Nice for him to get a knock. He hit 209 last year. That's a disaster. There's no way he's going to be that putrid. And oh, by the way, what did he bat? Sixth, maybe? What was it? It was Schwarbs, JT, Bryce, Castellanos, Reese, Didi, then Gene, Stott, Veerling. Man, I would have been so pumped up if Mickey Moniak was playing. There's a sentence I never thought I'd say ever in my life, in my existence. But if Didi's giving you sixth and some lefty pop, he had a hit. I mean, just look through the guys, and you look through the box score, and you look through the lineup. Schwarbs and Reese. Hey, how are you? Bryce Harper. I still can't believe he tried to take second there. There were so many people complaining around me. I can't believe Bryce did that. I'm thinking to myself, have you watched Bryce Harper? Really? Have you watched Bryce Harper play in a Phillies uniform? This is what he does. Now, don't get me wrong. I think at times he needs to be a bit sharper, but I'll take the good with the bad. Right? Bryce Harper's going to give you 95% great things, 5% of the negatives. Maybe it's even more. Maybe it's 97.5%, 98% beautiful baseball, and then 2% might be a bit too over-aggressive. I'll take over-aggressive compared to being a bitch. I'll take over-aggressive compared to playing scared, right? Just in theory, in general, as a team that says, we're coming for you. Think of a boxing match, right? Or UFC, if you will. And you're standing in the pocket, in the fighting pocket, and you're ready to throw. There's something to be said about now your opponent realizing, like, yo, this dude's not backing down. He's not trying to work the octagon a certain way. He's standing in the pocket saying, let's throw. The Phillies are basically saying, let's throw. Let's play. Let's go out there. And if that ends up costing you a handful of times, but also benefiting, you're benefiting from it way more than it is hurting you, then all right. I'll live with that percentages any day of the week. Nolan donates $5. What's up, Nolan? Great first win of the season for your fight and fail pros. I agree. Offense contributed when they needed, and the bullpen was very efficient. Bullpen was awesome. Even when you had Familia and Hand, and we've been talking about Hand's velocity a couple ticks down, and thank you so much for the donation, Nolan. I greatly appreciate it. The ticks being down in spring, you get a little lefty righty too. Gets a big K. But it all stems from being forced to have to throw more pitches and be in a different circumstance because of Bryson Stott and Reese. And there were some hiccups for Stott. But think about the emotions. Think about the adrenaline. Think about the pressure, too, of knowing what the left side of the infield is like. I thought he responded. Like, hey, your first time putting on a big jersey and you're running out there at Citizens Bank Park, everyone knowing that you're a prospect we're pumped for, everyone knowing that prospects don't pan out very well in this city, and knowing that third base, you and Alec Boehm, maybe you guys are fighting for a spot, he got a little tough spot. There was also some moments turning 2-0. Gene Segura tried his best to throw one. It was like Bryson Stott to Gene Segura over to first base, and Reese, the A's were able to beat it out. Was the transfer as smooth as he would like to? Those are details that I want to dig into a little bit deeper with the game. As I mentioned earlier, it's a lot different watching live compared to getting that broadcast feel and listening and seeing some more replays and just getting a different angle on it. Today, for me, it was all just kind of, almost separating myself from work mode, even though it's very hard for me to do that, and I didn't do it anyway. But almost trying to take a little bit of work mode out of me and just spring training Phillies baseball fan broads it up. And just embrace the moment. Good weather today. It was supposed to rain, and then that changed in the forecast, which was perfect for us. A little chilly by the end, but good pace to the game and all around. You got my hot dog, throw a little mustard on that bitch, look around for some ice cream, some water ice. You just smelled the ballpark. And there were a lot of you out there, actually, that came up and said, yo, bros, can I get a picture? What's up, bros? And, it was awesome. It was awesome to kind of hang out with some people. And we were talking, and we were just discussing what we thought we're going to – that was before the game actually began, before I got to my seat. And, kind of just shooting the shit with a few of you out there and talking about what we thought was going to happen. And all around, you win 9-5, and I can't wait for tomorrow. It's like, when is this going to happen again? Can first pitch be already, please? As soon as the game was over, I'm looking at my ESPN app on my phone. Not looking at when they play next. Of course, we know they play Saturday afternoon next. But I'm looking at, okay, when I get home, what can I watch? What West Coast games do I have? Do I get the Angels? Am I going to watch the Angels again? Am I watching the Houston Astros? Am I watching Arizona play the San Diego Padres where there's walk-off home runs? Here's Beer hitting a walk-off homer against the San Diego Padres last night. I guess really technically early this morning at 1 a.m. And it was just fantastic. It's beautiful. I can't believe we're back in action. It's almost too good to be true right now. It's like that raw, natural, like digestion hasn't digested yet. So I'm still in that mode of kind of comprehending that we are witnessing real baseball that matters. Once you get into the thick of it a little bit more, game 22, 23, 24, you get into that flow. But games 1 through 5, it's a readjustment to your schedule. It's a readjustment to your talking points. It's kind of like a whole new life that you kind of have to get back into things. And I'm pumped that we are here. That is for damn sure. All right. Hello. Welcome. Thanks for calling. You are on the air.
Evening, Brody. Overall, solid win. I agree Nola was more the problem than Joe Girardi. Got to learn to fight through those kind of innings. But the catch is for Girardi is leaving him for too long when you know Nola is vulnerable into running into trouble when pitch count goes too high than when it needs to be that late in the game.
No, I don't disagree with that, but I'm also putting myself in his shoes. It's day one. You're going to need Aaron Nola, right? Like, that's something that is significant. He's really your number 2 behind Zach Wheeler, so he's going to be a crucial part to your team. And I promise you that Joe Girardi understands the 2-strike problems and the issues of Aaron Nola. But if I'm in his shoes, I'm showing faith in my guy. It's like, yo, Aaron, I got you, man. Go do it. Go finish the job. Go complete the mission. I show faith in my players. That's what managers are all about this year. Backfired today, but I don't hate the decision of, yo, come on, you got this. I got no problem with that game 1.
And here's a hot take. If Nola continues these sort of late-game blow-ups, you could try putting Nola in the bullpen and make him a reliever. That gives the pen more beef to work with.
Yeah, that won't happen. I don't think that's going to happen. I appreciate the phone call. You're not going to have that. Aaron Nola is going to be on your baseball team, and they're going to use him, unless it's some major blow-up that is not even usable. See, today, you get something that's usable. It's just finding that line, and that's what this is all about over this journey, is figuring out when is the right time to make that decision and how to figure it out. Like, that's what it really comes down to, is who is Aaron Nola? You need to learn this year's version of Aaron Nola. And maybe the answer is it's the same as last year's. And I'm not ruling that out. And it's off to a start that makes you tend to believe that that's the case. But I need the real data. I need substance to see it fully play through before I fully commit to it just after one specific outing. There's something in there. He's got skill, but he's got to tweak some things to fully get it out of him. Now, I think this message that we've kind of been talking about to this point, as we're about 30 minutes into the show or so, is it's crazy that the team wins the way that it does. And I'm not telling you that I don't feel excitement, because I definitely do. And there's a lot of you out there that has shown that in the chat right now and has shown that on social media and even in the phone calls. But there seems to be a harsh negative tone on Nola, as it should. But I almost feel like that's taking away from what is really positive here. Think about the damage that they just did. Think about how they smacked around that baseball. It's nonstop. The only time you get a breath and a breather is when Matt Vierling's in the mound, or in the batter's box. Excuse me. When Matt Vierling's there, and even he got an RBI. Nice little sac fly all the way out to the outfield. So even he was able to produce and give you a run. I thought maybe the Phillies would score more in that run than just that one. Would score more runs there than just that one, but obviously not enough to get more runs across the board. But that's your breather. Bryson Stott's not a breather. He's not as deadly as the Schwarbers of the world. He doesn't have as much power as those guys, although he did rope one down the right field line. It just went foul. It's good, though. Good cut. Really smooth. And Castellanos, after Schwarber hit his homer, he pulled one, too, to left field. That just went foul. Maybe a couple feet foul of the left foul pole. But when you get to 8 in your lineup, and it's Bryson Stott, he's going to make you earn it. He'll force you to throw 9 pitches. He'll force you to throw 8 pitches. He'll make you uncomfortable. And then, oh, by the way, he'll go in any direction. He'll bring it to right field. He'll poke it to left field. And the way that he slides head first to second, the kid's a real player. And I can't wait to watch him grow right under our eyes. Like, I'm almost intrigued by that. Watching him grow right underneath of us. Because it's been a long time since we've gotten something real from our own system. And the Kevin Long effect. Kevin Long is legit. If you did not listen to the episode of Schmooze that I put out recently between Ben Verlander and myself, he went on to talk about how much of a weapon Kevin Long really is, how much of a game changer he is as a hitting coach that could change a lot about what these cats can do. They're going to be driving the baseball. They're going to feel confident in that batter's box. And I'm talking about Stott. I'm talking about Didi. I'm talking about some of these guys that could use a bounce-back season. And hell, even Boom. If they're not going to play Stott, though, to play Boom, I'm going to be really upset. That's something that's going to piss me off. There's no reason why, to this point, Bryson Stott doesn't deserve to play every single game. Obviously, you fit in your standard rest days throughout as a normal, you're not going to play all 162. So there will be situations here and there where that happens. But realistically, with what we saw out of Bryson Stott today, you're telling me Alec Boehm is going to take away from that? Why? I wonder if Dave Dombrowski has something up his sleeve. In Dave, I trust. He's a very smart man. And maybe his thought is Alec Boehm could play. And he's got faith in Alec Boehm. And he thinks there's something to be said about his hitting. Here's my problem, though. He can't defend, and he's way too bad defensively at third base. He'll constantly give teams 4 or 5 outs an inning, and you will definitely hurt your team when that is the case. So knowing that, it's not as if he can DH all the time, because Castellanos, Rhys Hoskins, JT, Bryce Harper, they need to fit there. Sure, can he play first base? Yeah. But how many times is Rhys Hoskins going to DH when you have to fit everyone I just named in that slot as well? The opportunities are just not going to be there as often as you would like it to with the way you are currently constructed. But it's not like it's not my main focus. I'm sorry, my main focus right now is not Alec Boehm's development. It's go mode. It's time now to win baseball games. It's not time to worry about Alec Boehm. I'm not going out of my way to force feed Alec Boehm time. It's either you can or you can't. It's either you're ready or you're not. It's either you took a big step from last year or you didn't. I'm not here to play games. And the reason why I'm okay with watching Stott grow is because within that limitations of what he can be, which is going to be a stud MLB player, a really good, structured MLB player, he's not holding you back. I don't think he's going to hold you back. He'll have mistakes. Anyone's going to make mistakes. He'll do more good for you than he does bad things. With Alec Boehm, I think it might be 50-50. And at that point, if it's even, if he's going to match it at best right now, match his bad with his good, matching's not good enough. You can't even it. I talk about percentages all the time. We can't have a percentage where it evens out. I'm sorry. That can't be good enough. We're having this debate right now with Aaron Nola. That's basically what he's doing. He's crushing guys early in games. He's keeping his pitch count low. He's holding the A's to 1 run. And then it's 6-4. And it's like, well, hold on a second. Whoa, wait. He just kind of eliminated everything positive he just did. And nobody's okay with that. People are saying it's unacceptable. So, we got to make sure we keep it 100 as a whole. All right. Let's bring in our next caller. Thank you so much for calling in, man. You are on Broads Media.
Hey, Broads. It's Nathaniel. Bro, I got a confession to make. I'm not going to lie.
What's that?
I'm an A's fan.
You're an A's fan?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know I've called him before. But, man, this team is just painful to watch. But, I'm from Philly, so got to root in. So I'll give you my thoughts.
Wait, hold on a second. You're an Oakland Athletics fan from Philadelphia?
Yeah, I was raised in Oakland.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine. I was just, that's all. I have to get that, out of the, I need to know how that works. So, okay, I understand. So what did you see in this game?
So what I see is a great hitting team, and I see kind of a pitcher that maybe I'm just shooting. It feels like he's kind of peaked already, and I'm also wondering about how much his contract here, because I believe he's a free agent after this year. I wonder how much that plays into like how he's playing, or just like, I mean, he's obviously not as good. I don't think he'll ever be as good as 2018, but I just wonder how much like his future, his uncertain future, might be in perspective here.
I'm sure that definitely adds more pressure, Nathaniel. I really do. I mean, you think about what he did last year. Let's take away the contract. Let's say that there are no worries and he feels comfortable in his position with where he's at. It's still a lot of pressure to bounce back from last year, and now you add that to it, which you can pretend all you want that it won't impact your mind, but we're human beings. We have emotions. We care about things, and not knowing the certainty of the future is something that I think is very valid. So sure, absolutely. But is that the difference? Like, would he be better if that wasn't involved? I don't think so. I think you're going to get what you're going to get regardless of any sort of contract situation as a whole. But it looks like that he has looking at his contract now. Hold on. Contract details. 2021. No, he's got 2023 is a club option. So you are correct.
Yeah. And then one more thing about Bryson Stott. Obviously, the kid, he looks special. He has all that it factor. But not to be a pessimist, but there was a time where we thought the same thing about Alec Boehm. Like, I remember his rookie season, he was lighting the league on fire. He had that crazy average. He was just nonstop hitting. So I don't think our highs should be too high on Bryson Stott, or our lows should be too low. Because, like, especially in the MLB, rookies can go from like being a big thing to being like nothing like that. Like Kyle Lewis.
I can't. Yeah, no, look, I can't argue with that. You bring up two solid points. Knowing how I operate, right? It's like I say that all the time. In the NBA, you win and you lose. You win and you lose. You beat the Boston Celtics, you lose to the Raptors. You win this game, you lose that game. You're absolutely right. I think that's fair. Alec Boehm, and you know what we talked about him? He would hit all over the place. But now we use that as a negative because he's got that body frame and he can't pull the ball. So I mean, it is different knowing what Alec Boehm was supposed to be with his power compared to where Bryson Stott is as a whole. But anyway, you're right. We looked at him and we were talking about a Rookie of the Year winner, and we were looking at him as someone to build around, and then he has just collapsed miserably and looked really poor. So you're absolutely right, but it's hard to look at Bryson Stott and envision a time where he just looks completely lost. You could probably say the same thing in that time as well that we talked about Boehm. So I really don't have an argument for you. I got nothing. You kind of got me in an area that I don't have anything to say. And I don't know how many times in the history of Sports Talk with Bros that we have ever been in a scenario where all I go is, you're right. I don't know if I even have a response for you. You're absolutely right. But I'm still going to get very high on him. I used the hashtag today. I used a couple hashtags, but one was Bryson Stott Fan Club. When you look at that swing for his first MLB hit, gorgeous, gorgeous. Go back and watch it in slow-mo. Even the RBI hit, too. Go back and watch in slow-mo, but specifically his first hit as a Philly. That thing was, it was a chef's kiss. It was magnificent. I loved every single part of it. And then the other one I used was hashtag Flip Rhodes the Double Bird. We're bringing that back into action. I used that, though, unfortunately for Aaron Nola, on a pitch where nasty curve, big strikeout, and I claimed that it looks like nice and early this season. Aaron Nola's bringing the Flip Rhodes the Double Bird hashtag back. And, of course, later on I had to reply to it and make sure that it's well known and well documented that I should have saw that coming. Well, that was inevitable. That seemed like the typical standard Aaron Nola that we just see all the time at this point. But, I'm willing to give him chances. I'm willing to see if anything could change. Because if you don't give him the chance, well, then what are you doing? I mean, the guy has earned it. He has earned it. Now, the leash gets shorter every single time this occurs. The leash gets different. And then your thought process changes as it happens each time. Game one, though, I'm not going to bitch and complain about it. All right, so that is where we are right now after game one. It was super exciting. We're going to have tomorrow's game. I'll be live tomorrow after the Phillies game at the 4 o'clock start. We got Sixers tomorrow at 1. We have the Phils tomorrow at 4, but we're going to be breaking down the Phils at the nighttime shift, if you will, after the game is over. We'll be talking about what happened throughout the day. And yeah, we're going to be kicking it, man, every day that we can, talking some Phillies baseball, which I try to log in like 150 of 162. That's always my goal heading into every year. 150 out of 162. Let's see if we reach that target today. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today after this awesome 9-5 victory opening day. If you are new to the channel, before we head out of here, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button, hitting that thumbs up button as well. And if you're looking to buy tickets for any of these games, you can utilize the promo code BROADS at SeatGeek's checkout page for $20 off. It's a no-brainer. Get yourself to one of these upcoming games again. The atmosphere is outrageous. Thank you guys all so much for listening, and I will see you next time.